Hey guys, it's Will here from W.T.F Car Reviews and WTFauto.com. Today we're going to be reviewing this 2021 Camaro Lt1. And for those of you guys who don't know, Chevrolet released the Camaro in 1967 for its first generation. And its main goal in that was just to outperform the Ford Mustang and give consumers an overall better vehicle. So Ford has always really just outsold the Camaro, even though since the first generation, the Camaro has been a better performing all-around vehicle. So when Ford was making Mustang GTs with engines that were producing about 270 horsepower, Chevrolet had Camaro SS's with up to 370 horsepower. So Ford had to respond to that. That's when they built the GT500. But that didn't really last long because Chevrolet ended up releasing the ZL1, which had like about, I believe, 60 more horsepower. The GT500 had like 355, while the Camaro had well over 400. So never mind on that. Fast forward to today. This is the 6th generation Camaro. And so towards like the middle of 2020, Chevrolet decided to come out with this LT1 trim. So what this does is it basically gives you the 1SS, but it also gives you some features from the standard 6-cylinder Camaro that gives you some cost cutting, so you can sell this at an undercutting cost compared to this base Mustang GT. And this does exactly that. Out the door, this car comes like base at $34,000, while the Mustang GT is about $36,500. And on top of that, you do have more standard features compared to the Mustang GT. So let's jump right in and see what this LT1 has to offer. So right away, coming in the front, you see your blacked out Chevrolet bow tie. It's nice that they blacked it out. It would be nice if it was a flow tie for extra airflow, but unfortunately we do not get that. So this is your standard Camaro front end. This isn't your SS front end. It's still very nice. I actually really like it. I definitely prefer this to the 2019 Camaro SS when they put the bow tie on the bumper, and that was just not a very good look. So regardless, step back a little bit, you can see that down here we do not have a front splitter. All it is just bumper and just painted plastic underneath. However, you do have like 5 or 6 screws that will easily allow you to bolt on a splitter in the aftermarket. So coming around side, you do have a functional vent for your brakes, keeping them nice and cool, and these 4-piston Brembos definitely need that. Here's your headlights, very nice LED lights and with daytime running strips. They look really nice during the day and they work very well at night. So coming up top, you do get your SS hood with heat extractors. Of course, for the 6.2 liter V8, definitely needs to have maximum cooling capabilities. So let's step around the side, check out the side profile on this 2021 LT1. Okay, so immediately you see these black rims. These are optional. They are wrapped in 245 40 R20s Goodyear Eagle F1 asymmetric all-season tires. And for 245 all-season tires wrapped all around this LT1, obviously you're going to be pushing this vehicle's limits when it comes to traction, but for what they are, these tires do a really great job. So another option we have red painted calipers that say Camaro and Brembo on them. Because of the angle of the rim, you're not going to see the Brembo, but it does say it. So let's step back. You do have your LT1 distinguishing badge. The LTs, of course, are black, while the one is red. You got your body painted mirrors. No blind spot monitoring, unfortunately, but they still do the job. Okay, so of course you have your smart access door. Chevrolet does not have the touch sensors. You got to press the button both to open and lock the car. You don't have any tinted windows, however that may be coming in the aftermarket. So of course you got the same wheel down here, 245 rubber. Unfortunately, you don't get the 275 offset rims like you do with the SS with summer performance tires. They're still Goodyear Eagle F1s, but they just have their summer supercar model tires. That's the model I actually had in my Mustang. Okay, so stepping out back, you do have the refreshed taillights. I do wish it had the pre-refreshed taillights. I do prefer those. However, these have grown on me quite a bit. You see right here in the middle, you have your reverse lights, and just this little strip is your brake light and turn signal. Okay, of course your third brake light with your blacked out Chevy bow tie. And we do have a spoiler delete here. No spoiler, unfortunately. That would come with the SS model. And of course, you come down here, you can see your quad exhaust tips. These are active dual mode exhaust. They have stealth mode, regular mode, and sport mode. And it sounds very, very good. Okay, so on the side over here, obviously same thing, but you do have your push to open gas cap. It's nice that you don't have to go inside, and obviously premium fuel recommended. Okay, so stepping into this Camaro Lt1. All right, so you immediately see that here comes some cost-cutting measures from GM. Everything up top is hard plastic, although you do have good graining material. On the 2SS, this does come padded for your elbow. However, given that these door sills are incredibly high, you're really not gonna spend a lot of time with your elbow on here anyway, so definitely not a very big deal. But continuing around, everything's hard plastic, everything here, hard plastic. Down here, you actually have some leather wrap trim, and this, it's a different plastic. It looks like it's brushed aluminum, but still plastic. But here you go, real aluminum door handle, that's nice. Lock and unlock. No memory seats, of course, but they do come with power driver seat and power passenger seat. And down here, you have your trunk release. And you have some storage compartments over here. You can fit not a lot of stuff, but you could definitely get some of your car accessories. Okay, so stepping in to the Camaro Lt1, I'm gonna leave the door open because it's a very hot day here in Tampa, Florida. But you immediately see beautiful leather wrapped steering wheel with contrast stitching, excellent bolstering extensions on the wheel, great 9-3 slot for your hands. You do have a flat bottom steering wheel. You don't get an Lt1 nameplate on the steering wheel, but not a very big deal. It does say Camaro in the middle. Okay, so coming around top to the dashboard, actually. So dashboard continues. Everything here is going to be hard plastic, no padding at all on the dash. However, down here, you do have, I guess, a little bit softer plastic with stitching, if you can see. So it does feel a little bit more hard quality. Yeah, this does feel a little bit better than the top of the dashboard. And coming down here for the glove box, this is also a much higher quality material than the dashboard. But that's their mindsets behind it, because honestly, you don't really need the dashboard to be high quality. That's just wasting money if you're trying to build a bang for your buck sports car. So they're going to be giving you the high quality materials in places that it matters. So the steering wheel, extremely high quality. This leather wrapped center console, very nice leather. However, it is not soft at all. It's very hard, and for long trips, it actually gets a little bit annoying. There have been several times that I put a hoodie on there for long trips just so I can keep my arm here, because that's where I find it the most comfortable. So continuing down, so we have our 7-inch Chevrolet touchscreen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Very nice features to have, and it's wireless too, so you don't need to plug your phone in to access those features. So continuing down, you have your Chevrolet air vents. Not Chevrolet, these are actually Camaro specific air vents. This is how you control the temperature. This is how you control your fan speed. So here we have our optional automatic transmission. It is a 10-speed, and it does an absolutely fantastic job. Very quick shifts, very smooth off the line, very little jerkiness, very quick rev matches when you're in sport mode. Even when you're not in sport mode, you could always just use the paddle shifters. But overall, excellent transmission. Down here you have your drive mode select next to your traction control and stability control. Here we have normal, comfort. No, we don't have comfort. We have normal, sport, and I'm not sure. We'll check it out when we start the car. But all right, so continuing down, you have your glove box. It's probably going to be very cluttered. Yeah. So wow. Yeah. So here it's not lined with felt or anything. It's going to be hard plastic, but it is damped, so it does give you that little bit of high quality feature to it. And going to the side of the door, you basically the same thing. And if I haven't mentioned before, for your elbow over here, very soft elbow padding. So it is nice that they gave you that for the areas that you do use. And it's not labeled here, but this car comes with a standard 6-speaker Bose audio system, and it does an absolutely fantastic job for a bass system. So compared to like the Ford Mustang standard audio system, this car is miles ahead. But okay, so now let's carry around the back and see how the back seat space in the Chevy Camaro is. All right, so stepping into the back seat of the Camaro Lt1. So like I said, this is a power seat. Just to drop it, you just push forward. We're gonna slide it up a little bit so I got a little space for my feet. Okay, so before I go there, let me just sit down right here to show you a comparison of how your passenger's gonna have to sit. And this is definitely doable. This isn't an uncomfortable position at all. So let's go jump out to the back. All right, so I am 6 feet tall. My head is literally in the ceiling. I have zero headspace. And even with the front passenger slid forward a little bit, I don't really have any room for my knees. I feel very similar to how I felt in the third rows of both the MDX and the Explorer Platinum. So is this doable? Yes, but I wouldn't really put anybody other than small children back here and people that you don't really like. All right. All right, so let's see how the trunk space is in the Camaro Lt1. So you got your trunk release right here next to your license plate. Just lift it up. You do have struts. And coming in here, you can see that you do have a decent amount of overall space. You can definitely fit a couple suitcases in here, a few golf bags. I've done some decent shopping trips already in here. It's not a bigger trunk than the Mustang, but it's not much smaller, and you do have a reasonable amount of depth. Your only real problem is going to be this opening, which is pretty narrow. But okay, that's basically everything there is to see with the inside and outside of the 2021 Camaro Lt1. So let's start her up and hear how she sounds. Okay guys, so that was of course the sound of the 6.2 liter pushrod, 455 horsepower, 455 pound-feet of torque engine from GM. So let's take a look at her. It's nice that this vehicle comes with struts and no prop rod. So there you have it. There's your GM 6.2 liter pushrod V8. Kind of wish that they didn't just have this engine cover up here. You would have actually seen your intake manifold and all that, but still very nice motor. Okay, so coming down here, you can see you have strut tower braces, very strong on both sides. I don't know if I can get into there, but you also have 2 more braces on both sides of the chassis over here in front of your radiator. So this car is very stiff, very good handling chassis, and right here you get a nice Chevy Performance badge. But okay. Okay, stepping inside with the car on. Okay, so you can see here's your air conditioning controls. I'll turn it down a little bit in case the audio is affected. But here you have your digital speedometer, you got your tachometer on the left, you got your analog speedometer on the right. Very nice to have. You can see your average fuel economy, 22.7. That's in 1,761 miles. This vehicle does have cylinder deactivation. So as you see, it says V8 right there in the corner. And so when you're not accelerating, when you're just cruising, when you're lightly on the gas, you're going to be driving in 4-cylinder mode when you're in touring mode. But you can just switch it to sport and you will disable that feature. But so far, I've basically just been driving in tour mode, since I will show you right now in a second. You can go over here to settings, So vehicle, driving mode. So you can adjust your engine sound, so your exhaust sound. You could choose between stealth mode, which closes up your valves. You have tour mode, which leaves them a little bit open, and then you have sport mode, which leaves them completely wide open. And so I leave it in sport basically all the time, because even in sport, the car's really not loud. You don't really hear much when you're on the highway, and when you start it up in the morning, the neighbors don't really get too mad. So I just leave it in sport all the time, so doesn't really matter to me. There may be an aftermarket exhaust coming soon. I don't want to make any promises I can't keep, but that may be an option. And you could also keep your steering feel in sport mode. So since you can do that, the two main reasons why I would ever have a car in sport mode, I just leave it in tour mode while keeping my adjustments in sport. So this allows me to keep the cylinder deactivation. It allows me to get almost 23 miles per gallon in a V8 Camaro with a 6.2 liter pushrod V8. So to say that I'm happy with the fuel economy in this car, that would just be an understatement. So regardless, moving on. So of course here you have a bunch of other modes. You have teen driver mode. You can adjust your lighting, adjust climate and air quality. I'm gonna click on that just to see. Oh, okay, so it's just basic stuff. I never clicked on that before. Apps. So you have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You also have OnStar, although that is expired already in this particular car, and I don't plan on paying for the service. But yeah, that's basically it. You have a lot of features here. A very good sound system. Very nice climate control settings. So that's basically what you get. You can take a look at the back seat legroom with nobody in there, and with relatively decent amount of space for the front passenger still. So honestly, you get a lot for this car. Here you have your lit mirror, frameless mirror for rear view, and your OnStar settings. All right, so now that we've basically seen everything there is to see inside and out of the 2021 Camaro Lt1, let's take this car for a drive and see how she performs. Whew, sounds really good. So first thing you notice when driving this car is that the ride is extremely compliant. So when you're like doing the research of this car, you see that it has like really strong handling capabilities, a really stiff chassis, and like all that stuff. You probably think that it's going to be compromising ride quality, but you really don't. Like that was a serious manhole cover with basically nothing on the outside to make it smooth, and the car just rides over. The ride quality here is comparable to the Acura MDX Sport Hybrid in Sport Plus mode in its stiffest suspension setting. So this car, of course, doesn't have the active suspension, doesn't have the Magna Ride, but even with Chevy's regular standard Camaro suspension, they have done a fantastic job. Inside here, it's extremely quiet. I don't hear the engine at all. There's no drone in any RPM at all. So from that standpoint, you're not making any compromises buying this car. So very compliant ride, very quiet. Ton of torque. Very torquey engine. Like that was barely any throttle, and it's just pulling at like 2200 RPM. Alright, let's turn onto this little straight road and see how this car can perform in a straight line. We're going to drive up a little bit because there's a big bump in the road that I would like to avoid. Alright. Okay. Leave it in automatic mode. And I'm not gonna just punch it off the line, obviously. It's just gonna burn up the tires. But let's try to get a good launch and see how this Camaro Lt1 accelerates. Alright, we're going to give this guy a little bit of space because there's an upcoming back road, and I would like to see how this Camaro can really perform in the twisties. But alright, we're going to put it in manual mode. First gear, we're not going to go too fast off the line. Just going to get up to speed. Speed and no understeer. It handles it fantastically. Like, guys, the level of performance that you get with this car is absolutely absurd. But let's turn around and put the car into sport mode and see if that makes any serious differences. But okay, so okay, sport mode. We also have snow and ice. So the three modes are Tour, which is what allows you to have cylinder deactivation, Sport, which turns it off, and also does the other stuff that I have manually set up. And you have snow and ice, which I hopefully will never ever find out in this car, living in Tampa, Florida. Like, even when you're just lightly accelerating, it just goes. This car goes. But yeah, the sport mode doesn't have any difference in sound. I don't really feel any increased throttle response even. So, unbelievable handling. Oh my god. Brakes. The turn-in is so sharp. Alright, so we have a little bit of open road. Let's drop it down to second and see how she pulls. Just pinning it to the floor. Second. Question about this car is visibility. And I don't even want to bring it up because honestly, it's not even that bad. So when I first stepped into this car, yes, it did feel a little bit cave-like because this roof is very low and these window sills are very high. But you get used to it really quickly. You're going to adjust your seat. That feels like whatever you're going to adjust your seat to whatever setting feels most comfortable for you. You're going to adjust your mirrors so that you can see the sides of your car, and you're just going to get used to the overall dimensions the more you drive it. So honestly, visibility is not an issue at all. I have never been in a two-seater sports car that had particularly good visibility anyway, so that wouldn't be something that I knock this car for. But all right, one more little acceleration run. Second gear. Yeah, the crackles and pops in the exhaust. Alright, so that just about wraps everything up with this 2021 Camaro Lt1. So if you want to ask me like if I would recommend this car to you, this car is mine. So if I truly believe in this car so much that I would buy it myself, I would 110% recommend this car to anybody that's looking to buy a sports car. Particularly with this engine because of the ludicrous bang for your buck performance deal that you get. So if you want to like know more about like what I paid for this car, how I got it for the deal that I got it for, what steps you need to take to make sure that you do end up getting the best deal possible, let me know. I'll 100% like make a video on that. I just don't want to make it right now for no reason because that's just not something that I'm interested in doing. I don't like to talk about like personal information like that. But regardless, I had so much fun filming this video for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it too. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you would like for me to improve on, and I would truly love to bring you guys the best content possible and to help you guys find the best car for the money that you really, really want. Best bang for your buck deal, whether it's performance, luxury, or a combination of the two. But regardless, thank you so much.